All right, everybody, welcome to Underground Crypto, where I have the worst issues with all kinds of different things. So now it's, I guess, run to this. So my microphone was working, and then I click, start streaming, and then it immediately quits working, and then I get the microphone working, and now my video capture is not working. So look at that, that one's completely messed up too. This is fun. It's a lot of fun. Hold on, guys. So I fixed the microphone. Let's see if we can, and you can see I'm using ChainGPT to fix my microphone. We got that squared away. You can see the crypto bubbles. I might have to do the show with no camera, but that is absolutely no fun. No, that's not Blue Sky playing the trumpet in that song. We would be very grateful if all crypto enthusiasts here would please press the like button. Yes, I would greatly appreciate that. Shout out to Melissa saying happy Monday. May your week go the way you would like it to. That is so nice of you. And we have a goal of 5 super chats, and she already sent in a super chat, so we got one there. And just give me one moment here. I do have one trick that I can use. And I really hope it doesn't try to reset my computer, because that would be very annoying. But let's try to get this camera to work. All right, let's see. So we disabled, reset it. Now let's see, I guess we have to delete the video capture, re-add the video capture. You gotta love all of these issues that come up, right? And when I do, it's gonna mess up my settings, so it'll look a little crazy for a minute. All right, love that. And then we have to go to filters. Basically, I have to reset all my settings so you can see my studio a little bit. I got the green screen behind me. Get a little bit of shot of what's going on in the background. All right, so now we got it so the green screen actually greens out. Don't you like that? And then we can narrow ourselves in here a little bit. All right, wasn't that fun fixing our problems live? Live back end issues being corrected. All right, well, here we are now. Now we're good. We don't have to stress from here on out. I sure hope so. All right, now let's talk about these crypto bubbles. We're at 1 through 100 by market cap, as we always start. Now the show can go on as it's meant to be. We overcome here at the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. IP got a nice little 5.1. Oh, we're on the 1 hour. I'm like, why are all these percentages so small? All right, now we're on the daily. So IP up 23.2%. This project's really interesting. I kind of dug into it a lot when it first came out. And it's kind of been, nice pumps, pullbacks, the usual crypto stuff going on with the price action, but it's made it up to $3 and it's hanging there. MYX up 6.7%. Monero, looks like Monero's taken all the market share, right? It's taken all the market share from Zcash. They crushed Zcash. Maybe this was planned. How to say this in an easy way? From my understanding of a lot of things that go on in the back end of crypto, very few of these things are random. Very few of them are genuinely as they are proposed to you. Like a bunch of devs got really mad with Zcash and they left. Well, were they new hires? Like, what was the deal? Zcash has been around since like 2016. They're not original devs. I'm pretty confident in that. I don't know it for a fact, but I'm very confident in that. But whatever. They got together, the powers that be in crypto, and they decided to FUD and, I guess, move everything to Monero. So it is up to $649 as a high today, and it's at $639 right now, up 10.4%. Then we have Validators. Validators had a nice 6.8 pump up to 9 cents. Still holding 9 cents. We got Dash, another old one here, 6.2 pump. Maybe it's sharing in some of that market share from Zcash. Maker MakerDAO is down 15.1%. And Litecoin having a pretty nasty pullback to $2. I guess they don't want to let that thing fly. Not a whole lot else to report other than Chili's. We've been looking at Chili's. It's up 5%. Let's pop down to our 100 to 200. Let's check out this chat. In the house, good evening and blessings to everybody. Much gratitude and health and wealth. Thank you, Underground. Absolutely. Blues guy, I appreciate you being here. All my regulars, you guys are the best. News coming out from Monero making me nervous. That's usually when it starts dropping. Buy the rumor, sell the news. People are so trained in that it would not be surprising if they sell off when whatever the news is actually comes to, fruition. All right. Says, what's up, Blues? All right, we're caught up on the chat there. We always keep an eye on our chat here. We love our community. We do not ignore them. Build On is up 17.2%, River 14.7%. This is Golem. This is an old project. And it is up 7.5%. Whatever this Frax is a legacy Frax dollar. I don't know anything about this coin. I don't know if it's meant to be a stable coin. I hope not, because it dipped down to 80 cents, and it is down 16.8%. Nothing else really to report here in our 100 to 200 by market cap, and we usually go down one more 100 here. And let's take a look. White Whale having the pullback, 23.7% from about 17 cents to 12%. Could be an entry, could be the end of the coin, right? I'm not telling you one way or the other, but I'm sure we'll pull up some TA on White Whale. We kind of got to. Somebody go tell Bankroll that we are live. Big shout out to Bankroll and everything he does in the community. My poor Monad is sinking to cheaper prices. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You never know in crypto, right? And let's see. Very boring sideways action for BTC right now. I mean, I'm very glad. We'll talk about it in just a moment. I'm very glad to see it holding above 90. But we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So education or open campus. Ticker is education or EDU. I think that's what that stands for. Up 13% from 14 cents to 16.9, call it 17 cents, and it's holding every little bit of that. And then we have Verge, an older project, 14.5% today. Alchemy up 15.2% to 16. KDO up 7.8% to 69 cents. We got Prom up 11.6% to $8.60. Then you have this UCN or UChain. It went from, wow, I don't know anything about this coin, but wow. It went from $1,300, $1,300 down to $577. If it swings this much, who knows? That could be a good entry. It dipped down that far. Right now it's chilling at $850. So if you bought that dip, you're up. But you'd have to have, to really make really great gains at spot prices, right? Without leverage, you would really probably need something in the ballpark of what? Several $1,000s, like $5 grand, 10 grand at spot prices to make a nice move from that 577 to, it went as high as 978. This is really interesting. I hope that comes up on our radar and we can check that out. Kada and Rect getting a little bit of positive. The Islam coin getting a 5.3. That thing has been bumping. What is that thing even up to right now? Oh, okay. It's not up that high as far as price. It's 4 cents, but I mean, it's up 500% on the month. So on the percentage, it's up quite a bit. So the big losers here that I see from the 2 to 300 is White Whale and whatever this UChain is. Let's pop it back to 1 to 100. So when we come back, we'll be in the right place. And let's do our usual price breakdown. But now what we're starting to do before we even do our price breakdown is we're going to go check out, we're going to hop over to TradingView and we're just going to really quickly kind of check out what is going on. Why isn't TradingView on my screen? Because it's not up. All right, that's very weird the way they do that. If you minimize the tab, then it's not available. It's very weird. All right, so we're over here, and why are we doing this? Well, we just want to kind of just see what the heck Bitcoin is doing at the moment. I have it dialed into the 15 because we want to talk about relevant price action. It's Monday, and this is just my life or vision, my life or training. The best times to get in trades, Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, and if you're going to trade at all on Thursday or you're already holding a position from Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday morning till about noon. That's my my understanding here. So let's go ahead. Got a trend line there. You do have a pretty nice flag, a little flat bottom there. And let's pull this. And bang. Now, with that going on, you know, one thing that you could say, but I don't like it, it's way too ugly, is like that little head and shoulder. Not a fan of that. I wouldn't really qualify that. But the other thing I would say is you got a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. And this is something I didn't understand for a really long time when it came to inverted head and shoulders, right? I would try to wait until I saw a full inverted head and shoulder with both the shoulder, head, and the shoulder. That's kind of too late. You want to get in on the bottom, and I'll get rid of my little drawing here so you can see a little better. If you want to play these, I found the best entries are at the bottom of the second shoulder, right? That's the end of the pattern. And of course, patterns that fit inside of patterns and coincide with patterns. Okay, so you have your inverted head and shoulder here, but of course, you also have your flag or your wedge here. Another thing that I would say is you can kind of say it's like a slanted Adam and Eve. Those are usually 90% patterns, but I don't know how that plays out when they're slanted. That could be different. I'm not sure. One thing I do want to say is we drew this big pattern here, right? And we gave it a pretty big measured move. The measured move was to 92,700 and you got to 92,487, basically 92,500. So it was like $200 off for Bitcoin. That's pretty small. Basically, what I see is a pretty fair, safe bet. A trade I would really like here. And here's where you can pull up your ratios. So we go to a long position, get right where price action is, right? And then we move up here. Now, this is already like a 4.5 risk ratio. And if you want a 3-to-1 and you want to be a little safer, I guess one thing you could do is just pull down till you get a 3-to-1, which allows you to like kind of hide under this bottom support here. I will draw a line. Where are we at? I'll use this. I don't usually use that, but we'll use that. So you can see the support there. 1, 2, 3. You had, look at this thing. I mean, you had the inverted head and shoulder there for sure. Hopefully you were able to peep that. The measured move for that was not amazing, but if you would have got in it, I mean, even taking profits there, you could have got a pretty nice move. If we go to like our price, sorry if I'm not looking at chat right this second, and say you got in off of that bottom, I mean, that's a 1%. You put that on 20x leverage. That's you know, that's 20% right there. Or it's actually probably more than that. I'm not gonna embarrass myself with my math skills here. No, I'm just playing. All right, what do we got going on here? Not a whole lot in the chat. Anyways, these are the type of trades that I really like, right? Because the 200 has a habit of holding us up if we're bullish. If we're not bullish overall, like in a short local time period, you're gonna lose that 1500, right? 15,200 MA. Let me say it correctly now. So to me, this is one of the best bets because you're down at the bottom. You're right at that. And so you could, you know, kind of be real safe and throw your stop loss under here. That kind of puts you in the position where you could just get wicked out real quick. That's not my favorite way to trade. If I can come down here and get under support, and that support's already been rated, right? If you think like a market maker, that support right there, they rated that liquidity under that support. That's all they needed. Notice this. This is really important to notice. They, look, tried to get under that to get into those, and then they got them. They actually got them in this candle and this candle, right? And it's what happened as soon as they sweep that liquidity off to the races. You'll see that time and again. If you have eyes for that and you pay attention to that, this is life or vision stuff right here, right? If you have eyes for that, you'll see peep into liquidity and you're gone. It happens so much. But anyways, now that we've already kind of sweep that liquidity, you could get another little sweep in there, but it's not, in my opinion, market maker philosophy. If you want to get into that, it's not so necessary. So you got this inverted head and shoulder, or you could say a slanted Adam and Eve, and you could pretty much hide somewhere down in here. Personally, I would like to hide my stop loss under the support, right? And I'll still have a 3-to-1 ratio. I lean pretty heavily on Lifer and the math that he's figured out already. And so he says you only need to win 3 out of 10 3-to-1s. That's it. So you could have a really nice move here. I'm really tempted to get in this trade. By the end of this stream, I might have to find some funds, move some funds around. I meant to do that all day. Now I'm going to bounce us back to our normal programming here, but I just really wanted to show you guys that even if, you know, this is deep dive research. Shout out to we have the start of a new series every Monday. Sometimes there'll be kind of continuation and they'll fit in. It's all crypto, so I mean it all fits together relatively, right? If you want to get really abstract about it. But we have the start of a new series. And I hope that you guys are going to enjoy that Crypto IQ raising event. Basically, where we go over a topic and we talk about something in crypto that'll raise your crypto IQ. And what does that really mean? It means that something informative that is going to make you know a little bit more about the ins and outs of crypto, rather abstract or very detailed about blockchain. If you're new to this show, we have covered so much. Even we had to back out of it a little bit because it was a little bit too detailed, I think, for some of the new audience coming in. So we're starting in a little bit different and doing series, but we used to do a topic of the day and we would get really deep into even like blockchain technology and how it works, MEV attacks, all kinds of stuff. And those things will circle around, they'll come back, but we want to do it in the right way and tell a story and piece it together in a series. So that's what we're doing now. All right, we always do a quick price rundown here. I've been saying for, I don't know, at least a month, even when the prices weren't here, that I would like to see Bitcoin above 90,000 and I'd like to see Ethereum above 3,000. That would be somewhat, what do you want to say? It would make me feel somewhat more comfortable. When we lose those, I start feeling a lot less comfortable. Anyways, Bitcoin, $91,057, and it's down 2.7% on the last 7 days. But again, you saw we were still above the 2 hour on the 15. I believe we are still above the 4 hour on the 200 on the 15, and I believe we're still above the 200 MA on the 4 hour. If you're new around here and you don't really know about our you know, it's really the Lifer vision, but we use the 200 and the 21 MA pretty religiously. Anyways, Ethereum, $3,093. I love to see that, a little bit of wiggle room there. And we will move down to XRP, $2. It's down 13% in the last 7 days. I hate to see that. Obviously, I own a little bit of XRP. BNB at $900, down 0.3%. Nothing to really get too excited about. Solana, $138, up 1.2%. At this point, anything green is nice. Dogecoin down to 13.5 cents, down 9.7%. What's going on with Dogecoin? I see a lot of people talking bullish. I see CZ talking about good chances of a super cycle. I've said it. Anybody who's been here on the stream, they know I have said this. You know, and I'm not saying I'm some kind of psychic or somebody who can really predict long-term these cycles, but the way that we had 2025, you had to have kind of two opinions, right? It's over. There's not going to be any bullish cycle. We're going to go back into this big downtrend that we were already really in 2025 from the end of 2024. And, you know, 4-year cycle would still remain intact, actually, if we actually, you wouldn't have your blow off top and everything, but as far as when the bear cycle kicks in, you could say the 4-year cycle remained intact somewhat, right? You just didn't get the bullishness. Anyways, I don't think that's what's going on. I have had call it a gut feeling, a premonition, if you will, that we are going to get a bullish, at least more bullish. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy to be more bullish than 2025, but I think 2026 will be far more bullish, and I think that we're going to get some positive price action. Just my gut feeling, guys. Don't take out loans on that. You know, this is not financial advice. Anyways, Cardano, don't sell the house. 38 cents, down 8.1%. So we're actually seeing, I mean, Monero, of course, crushing it, taking a bunch of market share from Zcash with 48.2% on the 7-day. But for most things, you see negative in these altcoins. These are, of course, wrap coins and stable coins. Chainlink, $13, down 4.9%. You're seeing a lot on the 7-day give back most, if not all, of their gains that they had pretty much recovered. SWI down 10% to $1.76. Zcash, of course, down 20%, just hanging under $400. Avalanche, $13.50, down 6.3%. Hyperliquid, $24, down 9%. Canton Network, inching in with just up 0.5% in the last 7 days. It must have had some decent gains. The things that are really low, like barely down or slightly up, had really good gains, and they've given them back, but they've kind of remained a little more even as far as your 7-day time frames go. And this is almost at 14 cents for Canton Network. HBAR 11 cents, down 12.5%. Glad I sold my HBAR a long time ago because we're basically back where it started. I think I actually sold mine at like 7%. That's a story for, or 7 cents. That's a story for another time. I regret and don't regret doing that. Now let's go down to Flare. I had a lot of things I wanted to say there, but I'm going to keep the show moving. Let's see where Flare's at. It's at 106. It's been chilling between like 106 and 100, top 100. Why do I constantly bring up Flare? Well, one of our top people in the community, Blues Guy, he loves Flare, so I do it for him for sure, and I'd do it for any of you guys who had something you were really all about. And it's down 10%, but also me and Blues Guy have been putting videos out about Flare. So we started with our first one that was like basic foundational Flare. You know, you need to have Flare to get into the ecosystem. That should be very obvious. It's the native coin. And then went over the dashboard where you can stake your Flare, you can mint your XRP into FXRP, a wrapped asset there, F asset if you will. And from there you can basically move into a whole bunch of other things, and those videos are coming. We put a video out today about SparkDex. Now SparkDex is pretty awesome, and unfortunately it's the biggest DEX in the Flare ecosystem, right? But unfortunately for me in America, they won't let me trade the perps on there. But one feature they have on SparkDex is really cool, is being able to use your F assets and stuff like that in perpetual trading. I thought that was pretty awesome. It won't let me use it, but Blues Guys in Canada, Camsta, you're in Canada, you might want to check that out. I think that their perpetual DEX is actually really cool and just gives you another place to trade. What is the benefit of having multiple places where you can trade? I'll tell you. Keeping your trades separate. Now, I've seen some of the newer exchanges, when you open up a BTC trade and then you open up another BTC trade, they will keep them separate. That is really cool. But a lot of them will just lump them together. So if you have a BTC trade and then you see it dip and you want to make another, it'll just combine your two trades into one, order. And it doesn't really separate them. Can be confusing about which one's up, which one's down, because now they're merged into one, right? So now we come into what's trending. And so what I'm saying is you might want to have multiple exchanges, at least maybe two, that if you want to open different trades on the same asset, you can kind of keep them separate, and it's a little less confusing, especially for a new trader. Anyways, let's talk about what's trending. The beginning of the show is really all about what is trending, keeping a pulse on the market, what's going on in crypto before we even get into anything else, because I feel like that's what a lot of the people kind of hunger for, right? I feel like a lot of people, they come to the show and they want to know what the heck is going on in crypto. And try FlameX. Yep, we have a lot of great videos coming out. So I said I was going to put a video out every other day with Blues Guy on the Flare ecosystem. We did, but we had a volume issue in his video. In his parts of the video, his volume was down. He's going to get a new microphone. We got it all fixed out. Don't worry about it. The video is going to be great, but I had to go back in and fix the audio. Blues Guy, that audio is good now, right? I saw you message me back, but I was setting up the show and I didn't actually see what you said. Have we confirmed that I'm good to post that video? I sent you it after I fixed it. Was the audio good enough to post? If so, it'll come out tomorrow at probably about 9:30, 10 a.m., one or the other. All right. All of those announcements and things kind of said, let's move into what is trending. Monero, Dolomite, I don't hear this thing very often, but look at that pump on Dolomite, 38.6%. And what is Dolomite? Anybody can tell me off the top of their head without Googling or ChatGPT in it? All right, let's see. And where's Bankroll at? Greenfinger's in the house. I didn't see you slip in there, man. Greenfingers, I definitely want to acknowledge you, a new person coming to the stream pretty consistently. Bankroll was telling me that you're pretty well-versed, that you're pretty... Bankroll basically said you are a great fit for our community as we're building here. So he's vouched for you completely. So welcome to the family, man. I appreciate you being here. If you Dolomite, sorry, bro. Green fingers. If you actually are a little more advanced and like, I don't know, maybe you don't want to like, I don't know, feel like you're coming across strong or something. Nah, feel free to say what you got to say, man. We really encourage people to have opinions. You know, I think it's smart if you have opinions, listen to other people and bounce your opinions off other people's opinions, but you do what you want with your own opinions. But feel free to speak in here, man, and tell me stuff that you think is interesting. What are you into? That's what this community is all about. And I know that we're supposed to be going over what's trending, and we will, but I just really want to make this clear, for especially green fingers and anybody else who decides to join the community, that this is a place where we really encourage what you're into. Like, if you're really into knowing about gold and silver prices every day and trading that, and you trade some crypto, but maybe you're just into gold and silver, post that in the Discord. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us why you love what you love. Tell us what you're niched into. If you're, you know, Green Fingers could be secretly mining in the background, and he might be really knowledgeable on mining. Bring that in, man. Let us know about it. And I'm just throwing that out there as an invitation, absolutely no obligation. And I will end that rant. So Dolomite, Lighter, Story IP, Pudgy Penguins, Pirate Chain, Bitcoin, Zcash, Canton Network, XRP, Hyperliquid, Cardano, Solana, BitTensor, and Brevis. Brevis being one of the newer ones here. All these other ones you should know. I mean, if there's something that you don't know, just tell me, throw it in the chat, and I will go over it. Same thing with like TA. If there's something you want me to check out some TA on, let me know. So we're going to start here on CoinGecko with Dolomite. I just want people to know what it is because it pumped big today. It's got 30.4 million in its market cap. It's chilling at 6.5 cents. In the last 7 days, it's up 35.3%. Let's go to that max chart for some look at what they came out April 23rd, 2025. So this is not quite as old as it's not as old as I thought it was. I thought this thing had been out since 2024, mid 2024. But we go over so many coins all the time, can't keep them all straight. The same way you can't own all of them, right? Unless you're gonna like put $1.50 in all of them, and then what the heck is the point at that point? Anyways, April 23rd, 2025, it came out around 0.064. We're at 0.065. It's been way up to 32 cents, and that was August 30th, 2025. Yeah, and then, okay, so a lot of it was in 2025. A lot of these altcoins and stuff had big pumps in 2024. I don't know why I'm going back. It didn't even start till April 23rd. Anyways, most altcoins, their big spikes were the end of 2024, somewhere in those last couple of months. A billion max supply, but that's not what's important. What is important is the circulating supply, which is less than 50%, just barely. And you would take this circulating supply, you would divide it by the market cap, and that would give you your price per unit, per coin, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't really matter what you want to call them. They are what they are. So we got a Barachain address and an Ethereum address. Go figure. A layer 1 basically forking or copying the code Barachain of Ethereum. It was really interesting, Melissa. I looked at what you posted in the Discord. I'm always kind of peeping what everybody's putting there, even if I'm too busy to engage, about chains that might be obsolete or closed down or however you say that. And I saw they had Barachain on there. I thought that was interesting because Barachain's actually pretty new. So if they came out and then shut down that quickly, that would be quite concerning for them. Anyways, it's a decentralized exchange, automated market maker, AMM. Might want to put that to store that to memory, what that means. Lending, borrowing protocol, things like that, I think raise your crypto IQ. And the fact that like you're reading you're reading a paragraph, whether it's news or on a website, and they say AMM, they might not tell you what that means. All right, it's like DeFi. Everybody knows what that means, hopefully. They know what it implies, at least. Let's go over to Dolomite. So tap into DeFi's most capital efficient money market. We already said it's a decentralized exchange. So from there, I like to just basically open it up and let's take a look at it. Let's see how we feel about this exchange. I really don't need a tutorial. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Can we end this? Done. Okay, cool. So you connect your wallet. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to connect to every website. Same way I don't want to make a profile and sign up for every single website. But here's your tokens. What are almost all of these things about? Usually perpetuals and stuff, but if they don't have perpetuals, then it's all about earning, and that's where we are under the earn tab. And you're providing liquidity. You could call it staking, You could call it whatever you want to call it. You provide liquidity. People take that liquidity, they do other stuff with it, they make money, and then they give you a portion back. Same thing the banks have been doing for forever. What do you think is in your bank account? The savings. There's a representation of your money in the bank account, but the bank's got that money and they're moving it around. They're doing whatever they want with it. They're trying to, they're giving you 0.01% savings pretty much nationwide in all banks. There's some high yield savings, but we don't got to get into that. For the most part, they're giving you 0.01. And, you could get 4%. With whatever this is, and who cares what this is, to be honest with you. There are all kinds of staking mechanisms. Here's USD Tether giving you 5.9%. So a lot of people in crypto, we're so used to like big money, right? And by big money, I mean big moves in percentage. This is up 100%. This is up 1,500% for the year, like crazy stuff like that. Everybody wants their 100 to 1,000x. They're chasing it. But if you're more of a traditional, maybe you're an older person, 45, 50, and your whole life you've gotten 0.01 interest on your savings account, and you could get 5.9% off of a stable coin that's not going to move up and down, that's a huge increase. I think some people kind of sleep on how big of an increase that is. Here, USDC, 10% almost, 9.57. So my point is, these things do really well because you have a lot of people with some decent amount of money in savings coming over from the world of banks or traditional finance. Maybe they're in like stocks, or maybe they're just a normal person who've had $100,000 in their bank account getting 0.01%, nothing exciting. And now all of a sudden I can get 10% a year. That's a big deal. I don't know what 0.01% is, but it's probably not very much. Now you're getting 10 grand on your 100,000, like big difference. So this is why this stuff is constantly popping up. This is why people are excited about DeFi, who are maybe not your normal hype meme coin people, but your more stable, older, traditional finance people. All right, let's talk about Brevis. Brevis is a newer coin. Let's see what's going on here. Appreciate the welcome. Absolutely, Green Fingers. I'm here for Chili. Deep dive in alts ain't really my thing. Okay, I prefer to look at charts, but seems like a good crew in here. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I do like to know what your interests are. We can look at charts. So Green Fingers, if that's really what you're into, feel free to tell me what it is you want me to look over, if that's really what you're here for. And you're not here for alts. What do you like to chart? BTC? I mean, Ethereum. I don't know if you consider it Ethereum an alt. It's at a point where some people do, some people don't. But anyways, I really appreciate you being here regardless. Camsta says if it ain't your thing yet, maybe you'll learn something. Who knows? I like to never be. I know the fact of my own ignorance, and I'm always open to learn anything and everything from anybody, and then later I'll decide if it has value. I'm always learning something in this group, says Melissa. Love to hear that. So yeah, we will do some TA on chilies, I guess, as soon as we get to the TA portion, which is coming in probably about 20 minutes, roughly. Okay, January 6th, 2026, this thing came out. So it's very new. That was 6 days ago. You see this price action had a big dip, had a big pump, had a big pullback. It's lower than even this dip, and it is what it is. Now, it is 80.3 million in market cap, 1 billion in max supply. Circulating supply 250, so 25% of the max supply is out. And again, the circulating supply is all that really matters in that short term. Ethereum contract, BNB smart contract, base contract. They have a Twitter. Let's check out the Twitter. I believe they were like 400 and something thousand. Yeah, 461.8 thousand followers, 9.3 in their community member. Pin post has almost 200,000 from January 6th. Was their token generation event. See how I kind of lay that out? All Twitter means to me is attention, right? Oh, chill, not chilies. Hilarious. Hey, I'm reading it quick and it's tiny out of the corner of my eye, so you'll have to forgive me. But hey, I'm glad that you're here to chill, and I hope that we provide that chill environment for you. The infinite compute layer or computation layer for Web3 and everything ZK power real adoption. So ZK is, of course, what is you see in everything right now, terminology, zero knowledge, which is a way of validating things mathematically without really having to know what the information in it is. So if it was like how much money's in a wallet, they could validate it without ever disclosing or showing or even knowing actually what the amount is. So privacy, that's all about privacy there. So what would I consider this coin? Probably privacy. We'll take a look at their website for a half a second because we've gone over this thing before. So infinite computational layer for web, AI, everything, zero knowledge, verify instantly, build impossible applications. Just want to pull it up so you kind of remember and start to link the website, what it looks like with what they are. Every advanced decentralized app faces an impossible trade-off. We say it all the time. Any good company, any good crypto project has a real problem to face. Our whole series last week, I'm really going to start kind of layering this and putting it together for you guys so you can kind of see how it all fits together. So our whole series last week was pretty much about why certain narratives do really well. Bottom line, because there's a real problem, it's a big problem that many people have to deal with, whatever it is, and from stable coins to say, you know, cross-border payments, whatever it is, a lot of people deal with it. Well, here they're saying, keep computation on chain, trustless but severely limited, move them off chain, powerful but unverified. So basically what they're saying is for decentralized applications, everybody wants blockchain to be big and powerful, wants AI to boom, wants all these apps to be built within that infrastructure. Well, here's the problem. If you keep it on chain, you have, you know, you're trustless, but it's severely limited. So what do they wind up having to do to scale? Well, then they move them off chain, which is super powerful, but everything becomes unverified and it kind of takes away from what the technology is built to do. So every complex application is therefore forced to choose stay simple enough to verify or run in the dark and ask your users to just trust you. So this is laid out a problem. Now you can kind of take Brevis as a project out of the equation here. This is a problem. And I'm sure there's many companies in crypto projects, whatever you want to call them, that are centered on this problem. And so keep that in mind, because I think understanding what the big problems in crypto are makes you a better speculator in the market overall. Because, you know, if you see something come out and their problem that they're telling you is not really a big problem, the speculation on that project might be really weak. This is all just food for thought that we're doing here. So we got the fear and greed index. We definitely pay a lot of attention to the fear and greed index. 7 days ago, we were at 44. 7 days ago, we were looking pretty hot. Right now, you know, we're at 27. So we dipped back down. I think, well, yesterday we were at 27. Now we're at 26. We're kind of right teetering on the line between extreme fear and actual fear. And then it goes neutral greed and extreme greed. And yeah, this is where we're chilling. And I like that they have it charted out down here. You can toggle between a year, 6 months, all of those kind of things, and just get a visual representation. I think everybody pretty much learned in school, graphs, circle graphs, whatever, bar graphs like this are just visual representations. Just like the crypto bubbles is just a visual representation of data. But it makes it easier to digest here, right? So we got a little bit of pop here, and then we're kind of just chilling. We're not in the orange, but we're in the yellow. It's not real great. We'd rather be in the green. So if you're in green index at 26. Now we come over to Crypto Rank, and we're going to look at what is trending on Crypto Rank. How's everybody enjoying the show? I feel like I'm on one. The energy's high. I like that. Some days it's hard to get the energy rolling. Today is not one of those days. I'm glad that we overcame the technical issues at the beginning of the stream that were threatening to delay the stream at least. So Katana Inu up 56.8%. So I wonder if this thing's playable. We might have to, at the end of the stream or between now and tomorrow, I'm going to play around with that if I get the opportunity and see if we can't get it to play. It's in beta. Before you could download it, but nothing would happen when you really tried to log in. I hope they fix that. So Katana Inu is on the radar. Then you have this O, or quadruple O, and it's down 37.7%. I don't think the name is a good name because it doesn't really, when you see that, you have no idea what it means. Katana Inu, at least, I don't know, I think of a sword, like it gives me, I think a good name should give you some kind of visual representation, and then maybe when you click on it and you go learn what it is, as this is a gaming project, then all of a sudden I link the visual with the name to the project and it helps me remember it. This looks interesting, as I have no idea what this is. Icarus. finance. It says finance, so I know it's in the vein of finance. There's no prices here or market cap or anything, no 7 days. So I'm assuming there's no token generation event here. Then we have BeatSwap. I'm not familiar with that as well. Reminds me of that other Beat token that was all about like Dance Dance Revolution or something. Not my cup of tea. This looks like it's more centered around music. We'll take a look at it. Glad to see that there are some projects on the radar here for us to keep an eye on as maybe they roll out. I don't know how long this coin's been out. We'll get into that in a minute. So Anzin, not sure what that is. And then of course you got Jupiter, Pepe, Athena, USDE, stablecoin, ICP, that's been around a long time. Chili's, what I thought Green Fingers was saying. He says chill, not Chili's, and he's laughing at me. Let's see, and for good reason. I need to pay attention to what I'm reading a little better. HBAR, 11 cents. MemeCore, $1.69. Let's see. Pump.Fun, Optimism, BNB, Ethereum, Solana, Canton Network, and Ethereum. Nothing crazy there except for some of the things at the top of the list. Said IK care us. Go get them underground. Hey, thank you. All right. So now we have the most visited in the last 7 days. Bitcoin, Zama, we've talked about a lot. Okay, is that even worth talking about now? I don't. But still no token generation event here. We got Zcash. ZenChain. Where did I get Zcash from? I don't know. Moving at light speed here. Too quick. Slow down. Brevis, Solana. Ranger is new on our radar. Token generation event was just a couple of days ago. Ethereum, XRP, Lighter, Deep Node, which we've been over. Fogo, back on the radar. We talked about that once. Rain, Babylon, Sweeb, Bitnova, we went over that. EGN Cloud, Architect, ZK Pass, and Canton Network again. So you can see where some of the attention is. Now let's actually dig into a few of these. Let's start with this. Let's see, he tried to tell me how to say it. Ike Karas. Hey, thank you that Camsta is here to make sure I say stuff correctly, because I have a bad habit of like, I may never see this project ever again, and so I just read it whatever, because unless it becomes relevant in crypto, what does it matter? But now I'm doing a live show, so I guess I actually have to put a little bit more effort than that in. I do apologize. I will fix that. So ICA is the ticker. There is almost no information about this thing. We don't have a Twitter. We don't have a website. We really have nothing. We have a max supply. That's about it. 1 billion tokens. We don't have a chart. We have really nothing to go off of. It says its category is inactive. I didn't know inactive was a category. So we're going to move right along. BeatSwap. That saves us a couple of minutes looking at that. BeatSwap is a Web3 IP right platform. I'm assuming it's for beats, for music. That makes a lot of sense. I bought plenty of beats in my life, so I kind of can imagine what the use case is here. See what the token generation event was yesterday, the 11th of December 2025. Sorry, not yesterday. I saw the 11th and saw it was the 12th. It's the 11th of December 2025. Not January 11th. All right, 2.1 million in market cap. All-time high market cap, 9.8, almost 10 million. So it's fallen quite a bit, which is not surprising. This is an interesting project. I don't really know how much use case, because you got to kind of think that the people who are used to a lot of, beats and stuff like that, they're probably not crypto blockchain type people, but it is an emerging space. So I could see why some people would trickle over here and try to implement the same ideas using new technology. BeatSwap is a Web3 IP right platform revolutionizing ownership by leveraging blockchain technology. Basically exactly what I just said. You would think that I came and read this ahead of time. 19.8 thousand followers. Under 20,000 followers, okay. December 29 is the pin post. It only has 5.5 thousand views. That is pretty lackluster, but proportionally from the followers, maybe not so bad. Anyways, we took a look at what kind of attention they have. I'm a little bit more excited to look at the website, per se. All right, let's go. Oh, wait, did I go back to the Twitter? My apologies. Website. Beatswap.io. Royalties generating paid usage traction. 100% owned IP rights. So maybe it's more about managing your rights to music. That's pretty cool. 711 tracks. I'm not sure. I can play them, but I won't hear them. I won't know what they do. Maybe you'll hear them. Doesn't really like open up anything. Very weird. Doesn't like open up a player. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what it is. Not a whole lot to see here. Platform. What we do. BeatSwap is powered by 4 core platforms that redefine how IP rights are owned and monetized. From verification to trading, each layer invites meaningful participation from creators, fans, investors. Oracle. I scrolled down and it went up. That was weird. Where was Oracle? All right. So anchor IP rights on chain with verified metadata and real-time royalty tracking. BeatSwap Oracle locks right data securely on chain. So they have an Oracle that goes in the background, keeping all the data up, data up to date. Deriving transparency, immutability, and live traceability of ownership and earnings. If you're an artist or anybody who wants to make music, this is cool idea, technology. It'll take some time for this to really catch on and be what everybody uses. I think that the technology of blockchain is pretty much inevitable to come into every category and solve a lot of problems. But it's going to take time. It's going to get a lot of resistance from big players who don't want to come over to the space because they have full control right where they are. Why would they want to come over to the space and give up some of that control and play in a more even playing field? Most of them would not like to do that. So they're going to fight it. Anzen is a decentralized lending platform. What does it tell you? Financial, right there. Developed by credit investors to credit investor experts to enhance stability in DeFi space. There are so many financial products in the space. They are the infrastructure. They are the DeFi. They are the DePIN, decentralized infrastructure. They are necessary, but a lot of them crash and burn, right? So right here, this was 30 million in market cap. It's already under a million. So that's not real great. Looks like, wow, did this thing come out today? It's kind of what it looks like here. Token generation, I'm going to say, is from yesterday, Sunday, January 11th, right? So almost like 24 hours and they've lost a lot of money. Sounds almost like a rug pull if you ask me. Let's see what kind of attention they got going on. 97.1 thousand followers, followed by base swap. Okay, 2 million. Wow. Somebody must have rugged this thing. That's all I have to say. From October 8th, they got 2 million impressions with only like 100,000, close to 100,000 followers. RWA backed stablecoin. What happened? How do you go from 30 million to less than a million? I'm pretty sure it was like less than 500,000. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like almost just 250,000. That's a lot of money to lose that fast. I don't know how they come back from that. I'm going to move on because there's so many financial products that's just not really exciting. Doesn't seem like they did very well. All right, so let's go down this next list. Brevis we already covered. Let's talk about Ranger. I thought Ranger was pretty interesting. It is another decentralized exchange. I see, here's a good thing to check right off the bat. Market cap 8.2 million, but all-time market cap only 8.5. So they're really not that down from their all-time high. Because charts are based off of the data and the range, right? So sometimes they'll look like a lot more than they actually are. One thing I kind of see right off the bat is this, which would be your Adam and Eve if you want to, I don't know, make it a little more abstract. Of course, you could say Head and Shoulders. It's starting to play out. This kind of looked like a Head and Shoulders. It did not really play out. So with a new coin like this, the patterns can be real difficult. You're not even going to have 200 MAs at all because you don't even have 200 tickers. Maybe on the 1 minute you could get something like that, but on the 1 hour, the bigger time frames, you're not going to get any of those kind of things. Anyways, let's go check out how much attention they have. Are they generating any new attention here? 34.4 thousand followers for Ranger over on Twitter. Pin post got 24,000 impressions. An ICO update. Okay, not a whole lot to report there. Attention is mediocre, I would say. Now let's go to Trade Now and check out their actual decentralized exchange. I was impressed with how many pairs they had. I thought the pairs were good. I thought the amount of leverage on 100x is pretty standard, right? For a lot of things, you can tell that they're different on different assets. Like, you're not going to trade this drift at 100x. They only go up to 5. So you're not going to get 100x on everything. The big leverages are usually only going to be for like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana maybe. But anyways, they have a ton of different pairs. So if you're looking to trade something, it's almost all there. That is what I like to see. We've been over this many times. Not going to spend a ton of time on that. Let's keep moving. Of course, I hit back way too many times. All right, so DeepNode is an AI project. We've been over it several times, but I'll click on it and at least read the description for you. DeepNode is a decentralized AI network designed as an infrastructure for open intelligence. 31 million, been as high as 41 million, still not a horrible ratio, and the price action honestly doesn't look so bad. I mean, it pumped right from its inception, which was the 9th of January 2026, pumped all the way up to like $1.90, then quickly pulled back to 99 cents, basically, you know, a little bit less than $1. And then from there, it looks like one big flag to me. If you pull this whole thing out here, that looks rather positive. And again, with these new coins, you can't be certain of anything. It does have a higher market cap than, say, like a meme coin with 5 million in it. So I would maybe say that you have a better chance of getting something out of this and not getting rugged, but wouldn't be my favorite thing to trade. But it does say it's a good chance you could get as high as $2.83. So keep that in the back of your mind. DeepNode, DeepSeek seems like they kind of go hand in hand. I don't know if they're directly related or if these people just kind of played off of the name. Fogo. I remember Fogo before. I don't know where I remember it from. How's everybody doing in this chat? It seems like it's died down. Everybody awake? Everybody ready to pass out from the Monday work? If you're a Monday through Friday kind of person, Sunday, you roll into Monday, you actually got to work the full day and you're like, enough of this, I'm going to bed early. Maybe you went too hard over the weekend, whatever it is. So they've raised 8 million. Fogo is a high performance Solana virtual machine. Now, this is what I was saying a minute ago. Thank you, Melissa, for dropping something in the chat. That's what I was saying a minute ago, is like, you will see things SVM. And if you're not well versed, this is about, you know, education and crypto IQ. They're not going to spell that out for you necessarily. Maybe when you go to their website, they'll actually tell you what it is. But when you're just reading things, you're not going to know what that means. Well, if you know what EVM is, Ethereum virtual machine, then you should be able to kind of infer Solana virtual machine. So Fogo is a high performance Solana virtual machine, layer 1 blockchain designed to deliver real-time experience at scale. Right off bat, layer 1. That's the category I would put it in. If you want to niche it down a little bit more, as I like to do, subcategory, if you will, Solana virtual machine is a little bit more specific niche where everything else is pretty much built around the EVM or Ethereum virtual machine. So no token generation event yet. Binance Wallet, it says 100% locked up. It's very interesting. Funders and backers, this distributed global, I haven't seen that very often. Let's see what kind of attention they got going on. So we listening, you're so entertaining. I worked today and tomorrow. Okay, Melissa, are you off after that? When's your days off, Melissa? Do you know? Or is it like a day-to-day basis kind of thing? Do you get a weekly schedule? Stop paying your latency taxes. The greatest on-chain trading experience. Solana virtual machine layer 1. Why is so many people building out these projects around decentralized exchanges? One, centralized exchanges are extremely profitable. I don't know if anybody realizes that yet. Look at MEXC Global, look at Weex, look at all these different players. Very profitable, like billions of dollars a year profitable. Anyways, looks like they're trying to solve the problem of latency taxes. I can infer what that would mean, but I don't know 100% what they're trying to capture there. They do have a community with 4.8 thousand followers in it. That's cool. 141.3 thousand followers. Pin post from December 19th with a pretty cool looking video. Has 82,000 impressions. you know, could be a little better. It says the Fogo ecosystem, put down your rods just for a second and say good morning to the arsenal. A suite of essential DeFi applications that are ready to serve all your DeFi needs. Eyelash driving me nuts. Take a look at what's inside. Video looks okay, but it didn't seem like they really got the best traction here. Other than that, you can see somewhere like between 4,000 and 10,000 impressions on average here. That's not amazing for the amount of followers they have, so the attention seems a little lackluster around this project. Let's go to the website though. Maybe the website will just blow us away, right? Melissa says all over the place, no set schedule. Okay, well, hopefully the pay is great to make up for that. I sure hope so. But now one company is bridging EVM and SVM. Boy, I wonder who that could be. Shout out to Blues Guy for understanding the bigger picture here with the Flare ecosystem. And you can tell me if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Flare ecosystem, right? Zero compromise, no latency, no friction, no BS. Explore the main net. Don't mind if we do. Where did that take us? So token transfers. Fogo Sessions enables users to connect to Fogo with any Solana compatible wallet, hence the SVM, while eliminating the need to pay for gas and constantly sign transactions. Single sign-on meets on-chain transactions. Learn more about Fogo Session here. Okay, so I see the pain point. I see the problem that they're trying to solve. It sounds really cool. At that point, it would pretty much be up to actually using it, right? Fish while you wait. Pick up your rod and cast. Every action is a transaction. Start fishing. What does that even mean? Cast your line and catch real rewards. This is some kind of like program or marketing thing they have going on. Play now. What do you prefer? No, thank you. Process fee reduced from 99 cents to 1 cent. Okay, thanks. I have no idea what this thing is. I wanted to figure out more. It looked kind of cool. Some kind of game. But the thing is, they'll wrap this around like it's a game, and then you'll see that it's like it's not a game at all. So explore apps on Fogo. Apps on Fogo mainnet are coming soon. So this looks like they're building something. It looks pretty cool. I wouldn't say the website blew me away, but it was better than I thought it would be. Let's go to the ecosystem. So you have Ambient, which is trading perps, Bird's Eye, which is trading data. You got a BitGet wallet. You got Brassa Finance, liquid staking, which is what the pin post was about. ChainSpect, analysis, right? Analytics. Dex, DeFi, RPC, Fluxbeam must be in the Beam ecosystem. So we're pulling some interoperability here, right? We're pulling some things together. Flux RPC. DeFi lending, indexing. All right, so they have some things going on. This is probably one to keep an eye on. We'll be kind of looking to see how this thing does. With a project like this that hasn't token generated, I'd be keeping a close eye, and we go over these things every day. So I'll be keeping a close eye on how the token generation goes, right? Do they come out, pump really high, or come out really high, dump super low, stay in the dumps for forever, and then fade off into the irrelevancy that of crypto projects that didn't make it? We'll see. Not saying that is going to happen. Let's look at Rain. Wasn't there another project called Rain that came out? It was like Polymarket type stuff. Anyways, I digress. Rain is a financial technology company that helps businesses issue payment cards globally, right? Because every crypto project nowadays has a Visa card. It's kind of weird, but I get it. I see why they want it. They've raised $338.5 million. That is nothing to laugh at. They have Coinbase Ventures, probably a big chunk of that change, but there's 33 other ventures or backers, you know, in there as well. So don't leave them out. Let's go see what kind of attention they have. Sometimes I'm really impressed by the amount of attention, and sometimes I am not. 14.4 thousand followers, stablecoins powered cards, and everything needed to support them. Okay. Pin post from January 9th, not very far ago, has 300,000 impressions. I guess a lot of people who saw this post didn't see any reason to follow them. That's what I'm getting. That's what this tells me. On-chain rails have proven their value. Rain is making them usable by everyone and keeping them invisible in the process. Today, we are announcing our 250 million Series C at a 1.95 valuation to keep building. Now, it's cool when they raise a lot of money, right? Also, how many tokens are they giving away? Like, how hard, the more people they sell tokens to, the harder people are probably going to sell on them. You buy them for real cheap when you get in on early on these deals. And when the project comes out, they're almost immediately much higher, right? And so that's problematic for sure. It says, cool, I love fishing, LOL. Go fishing, bro. Let's go. Yeah, I had to log in and stuff. Maybe if you remind me, maybe we'll check that out towards the end of the stream. BitNova, new on the radar as well. I hope you guys enjoy kind of seeing what's coming out, what's new. There's a lot of times that we look at these projects and before they even generate tokens and they come out and they do well. There's a lot of times they come out and do nothing. BitNova is a decentralized ecosystem for scalable AI protocols and framework powered by containerized architecture, GPU accelerated orchestration. And I know that for a lot of people, it can be intimidating to do this, and it's hard to keep yourself doing this type of staying up on everything coming out on a regular basis. That's kind of why I'm doing it for you and making it easy for you to just tune in and watch. 1.3 million in market cap, been as high as 16.5 million. That makes me want to run for the hills immediately because it says people suck the value out of it. They didn't see the value in staying in the project, or they were just up so good. They sold too much to early investors. They were up too good, and it was a race to the bottom at that point. 204.9 thousand followers. BitNova is a scalable AI protocol and framework backed by NVIDIA. Now, I don't know if they're actually backed by NVIDIA. What does that even mean? Because people say backed by or partnered by, and like it could be very vague and almost mysterious where the connection actually is. I kind of feel like if BitNova had a strong connection to NVIDIA, that people would not have dumped it so hard. But that's just my opinion. Massive thanks to CoinMarketCap for welcoming us to the CMC Labs. Pin post got 734,000 impressions from March 28, 2025. Okay, that was a while ago. This has been up for a while collecting impressions, even if the impressions are pretty good. They do have a pretty high amount of followers. Pin posts much more, but let's look at maybe their more regular posts. 27,000 impressions, 33,000, 22,000, 34,000, 21,000, 40,000. Okay, I see you. So I would say they get attention, but I wouldn't say that they're holding their value very well. I mean, it's been a straight race to the bottom and been flat pretty much since the 9th of January. Yeah. Token generation event, the 8th of January. Okay. Yeah, that's a very quick race to the bottom, and we're going to move on. That doesn't excite me much, I got to be honest. And the last one we're going to touch really quickly, and that is Architect. I don't know why it keeps taking me back to the main page. Let's just touch on this Architect real quick, just so you know what it is. Architect is a centralized exchange, right? Specializing in the trading of perpetual contracts. With everybody being so excited about decentralized exchanges, I'm not really sure why we would really want another centralized exchange right now, but God bless them. Hopefully they do well. So almost every crypto has a Visa card exchange and a wallet attached to it. Exactly, Melissa. Greenfinger said, you said it. Hey, I said something. I don't know what I said, but I said it. Yeah, thank you for being here. Chris Goss 777 in the building, my fellow lifer. Thank you for hopping in and at least saying what's up. 333 in the building. Now let's go back, right? Where do we go after this? Well, where I'd like to go after this, honestly, is just to introduce the theme of the day, the idea of the day. So how trust works in blockchain. This is going to be our topic of the day. It says the myth of trustless. Just kind of wanted to look for something there. It wasn't what I wanted. Anyways, you can see I was doing my stream setup before that. Very transparent around here. So the myth of trustless, blockchains aren't trustless. They replace human trust with economic incentives. Trust shifts from people to code, institutions to math, and promises to penalties. So can you pick up what we're putting down here? Do you understand where we're going? The direction of tonight's crypto raising event. Now, where do I want to go from here? Where we've started to shift to is to come to our what is trending, right? And then let's go take a look at them over on TradingView, because the people they want to see the charts. And although this channel is very much about crypto research and raising crypto IQs, the people have spoken and they want to see charts. And so we're going to give them charts because that's what they want to see, right? Even Blues Guy told me you gotta give them the charts. That's what they want to see. So you can see we had virtuals was getting away from, and you just got to continue because we're projecting, right? When we draw those lines, we're drawing a flag with a measured move. We are projecting. We're not saying that's the pattern. It's going to move up immediately. It's not what we're saying. Matter of fact, a rule of thumb is when you're under the 200 MA, bullish patterns have a significantly less chance of playing out. But anyways, we kind of update our pattern and we move from there. We're still under the 200 on the daily. Let's go to like the 8 hour for virtual. You're above it. So you got the cross here, the 21 and the 200 on the 8 hour. You're coming down. Your stochastic RSI, if you will, is bottomed out. You do have this bullish. If you follow these trend lines here, you do have bullish divergence on the bottom. I wouldn't say that it's amazing bullish divergence, but divergence nonetheless from my understanding of it. I don't know. I guess it'd be like a class C or something like that. Oh, Bankroll rolled in here. I didn't see you, Bankroll. I'm here. Just hella locked in trading. Understood, man. Definitely understood. What are you trading, Bankroll? Maybe we could do some TA for you. Since you always do so much for us in our community, maybe I could help you out. So let's look at Dolomite. I don't think I really needed to type that whole thing in there. Dolo would have worked. And I guess let's look at it. I like to pull it up on MEXC. Is that an option? Spot. Sure. I would have preferred a perpetual, but let's just do that and not waste a bunch of time. Look at that thing. Well, we knew it pumped, right? So it's above on the 8 hour 200. So the first thing for me is I'm looking just to see, how far it's above the 200, then just start dropping time frames, right? But first thing that I see on the 8 hour is you could have tell something was brewing here again by your divergences. I gotta move this thing around, maybe make it a little bigger. That'd make it a little more helpful here. And get your bottom trend line there. And you can tell that those would eventually intersect each other if you pull them back, right? And I always think of like the alligator mouth in math class, bigger than, less than, whatever. That's what they always make me think of, and that's how I try to remember them. Jasmy and BTC. Okay, well, we definitely already started with some BTC. I actually saw a pretty cool trade here. I thought was one of the better trades for sure as far as risk to reward ratio. You could get really spicy and try to hide like just under that wick there. You might get wicked out though, but it would give you a much better trade. Even if you just put your stop loss at say 90,737, you'd be at like a 6-to-1. That's pretty great. But if you wanted your regular 3-to-1 kind of thing, you could come hide down here closer to this support for BTC bankroll, and you'd have I personally would even take it a little less than a 3-to-1, and I would pull myself under that support just to give myself just a little bit more wiggle room. And that's personally what I would do, but you do what you want to do. None of this is financial advice. Of course, for BTC bankroll, I see this inverted head and shoulder. I hope your trades are going well today. The target for BTC on this flag is 93,332. So call it 93,300. That would be kind of like the top take profit there. Let's see what that lines up with if you go back here. I don't really see anything all that significant. All right, cool. We'll dial it back in. Now, the other one he was asking for is Jasmy. I believe we looked at Jasmy just the other day, right? Should already be in my list, but I don't see it. I own some Jasmy, so I would also love to look at Jasmy. This is the time, if anybody has anything they want me to look at, throw it in the chat. I don't know, maybe send a super chat in, but I'm not going to twist your arm. I would do it for you anyways. Why? Because I love all the people in my community or anybody who comes to hang out with us. All right, so on the big time frame, I'm immediately a little bit concerned for Jasmy, because you got a shoulder, head and shoulder right there. Yeah, I'm all green so far, so good. Hey, that's what I love to hear, man. You've been killing it, so I hope you continue to do that. So I see a head and shoulder on the 8 hour. Now, you're probably scalping or something like that. So there's always multiple patterns, right? So first off, you have this. You could say it's flagging out on the 8 hour. And if you kind of, for a minute, just forget that bearish head and shoulder pattern, which, by the way, let's pull that measured move for that head and shoulder. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's still kind of nasty. It's basically back down to the 200-day moving average for the 8 hour. Again, I'm sure you're looking at this at a much smaller time frame. Is there a specific time frame you would want TA on that one guy? Anyways, if this is just going to kind of go sideways, you can see if it evades, because it's bullish, that head and shoulder. You can also see that inverted head and shoulder, which is what I saw for BTC. So hopefully that lines up a little bit more, right? Either way, inverted head and shoulder, the measured move's not really all that fantastic as far as a big explosive move. But if it flags, it does have a really nice move all the way up to, oh, I'm in market cap. Wow, way to fail. Now, the price probably doesn't look that much different because price is directly linked to market cap. But anyways, let's actually get us a real chart that's not market cap. Moving too quick there, and I wasn't paying attention. I knew I already had this thing somewhere. Let's just get rid of that one so we don't ever do that again. And let's see if it lines up similar. Yeah. Oh, who would have imagined it looks almost exactly the same? So you can pretty much just draw your TA again. I love to delete my TA and just draw it again. I do it all the time when I'm looking at a chart. Constantly I'm deleting it and rewriting it because sometimes I just draw something completely different that I did not see before. If you like the TA and it's something you're excited us doing on the channel a little bit more, throw a 111 in the chat and let me know that. I love the feedback. It kind of lets me know what you guys want. This show is all about the community. There is what I like to do, but that's not important. I'm not here. If I want to do what I want to do, I can do what I want to do when I'm not live streaming, right? I don't need to waste anybody's time. So if you really love this, then you might want to throw me a 111 so I know, right, bro? I'm moving too quick myself. I need to smoke. Hey, you do what you think you need to do, brother. But anyways, on the 8 hour, now let me not spend forever on the 8 hour. The only last thing I'll say about the 8 hour, flagging out above the 200, 21 above the 200, interacting with price action. That is usually the go button right there. And it's on a large time frame though. So you would think, you know, that take profit somewhere like the 20th, right, of January. So like 8 days. It would take like 8 days for that to play out roughly. If I remember how Lifery normally does that. Let's drop down to the 4 hour, right? 4 hours is going to look pretty similar. Same thing. It's really kind of hard to ignore that head and shoulder. So you might get something like a fake out, right? Where you got the head and shoulder, then you dip about the measured move of that head and shoulder, and then you find your way back up. No guarantee there, but I don't know. It's hard for me on a large time frame to ignore those head and shoulders. But here's one thing where a lot of people get a little bit confused, and I'm guilty of it sometimes as well, is that although that could be a head and shoulder, it's like it could also be like an inverted head and shoulder. It's just kind of see what plays out. And what makes it do that, took me a long time to understand, is that it's consolidating, right? It's like in a channel you could take, you know, I don't know why this is the only marker I can find. Let's get this one. You know, you have like that channel, and you have like, you know, that bottom, and if you want to put more than one, you could do something like this. That seems like a little overcomplicated, but you can see where like the main bit of your channel is, and then kind of your wicks and your outliers there, right? Your extensions, if you will. But I'd keep it more simple like this. And then you got a flag that's saying, hey, it was big, and it was big, and it was smaller, and it's smaller, and maybe it'll keep being in that flag. And if it stays in that flag, this is something I see the lifer doing, and this taught me a lot, is what is it? Control T? Oh, nope, not Control T. Don't click Control T. Is it Alt T? Nope, still hitting the wrong button here. We'll give you the line. That's not the line I want. Anyways, you have a vertical line, right? A straight up and down line. So what the lifer a lot of times will do is he'll just draw a vertical line. And what's the point of that? Well, that gives me some time to look at it. We're hoping that you're going to get the bounce here and come up and come into this. Even if you were to bounce out of it, you'd still touch this relatively sooner than later. That would be on the 14th. And then so we just click it, and we click set an alert for Jasmine. So now I don't have to worry about, like, will I remember the 10th or the 11th or the 12th? Well, we're on the 12th, sorry. You know, in the next 2-3 days, I don't have to try to remember to come back and take a look at it. I have an alert set. Here's another thing. Let's look for our divergences on the 4-hour. And when you're looking at these, why don't we just look at the 5-minute, right? Because probably want bigger time frame moves. I would definitely say you have bullish divergence here. Take a look at that. And what kind of divergence is it? What kind of bullish divergence? Can anybody tell me if this is regular bullish divergence or hidden bullish divergence? Does anybody know? Let's drop down and get a little bit more niched out here. Let's get rid of those trend lines. And notice that your divergence lines, they'll also be trend lines, right? And let's get a little more niched, right? Bankroll, what are you trying to do on this trade? Are you trying to scalp it? Are you looking for a big one? Or are you going to scalp and then try to like leave a runner? Ooh, right there I see under the 200, but you could say Adam and Eve. You could say it gets another shoulder, becomes an inverted head and shoulder. It's really interesting when you start kind of studying how different patterns play into other patterns, right? Hit that coffee so we keep that energy up. Should probably stop drinking. That'll be up all night. If you're wondering why I'm up at 3 in the morning chatting with everybody in the Discord, that is why, because I drink too much coffee. Said it's going to bounce. Might now make for higher high. Anything, but I like where it is at for a little scalp pump. Okay. So when I see that it's under the 15-minute 200, it's got some distance away. The moving averages are far apart. You're chilling on previous support here. I would be looking for a bounce because the moving averages are far apart. You're under the 200, so I get what you're saying. Let's hop down to like the 5. Okay. Definitely seeing like a complex inverted head and shoulder. Tell me if you see that there. One shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. That's good vibes to me. What I want to see is, again, 1 minute above the 200. This is like where everything starts, in my opinion. 1 minute gets above the 200. It flags out. 21 comes up above the 200, touches price action, and usually you get something out of that. If you're bullish, you're definitely going to get something out of that. If not, you stop loss usually under your 200, right? See some patterns in there, but I almost don't go too crazy with the patterns on the 1 minute. I like to have more like flags with more candles in it than to like draw an inverted head and shoulder here. So yeah, I mean, as long as the 1 minute can stay above the 200, you're pretty much golden. You had an SR flip right here. Bang. Where you can see it was resistance. You pushed through, came down, became support. And then you were off. And it's already starting to move. Of course, be mindful of the time frames. We say this all the time, and a lot of times it's or the time it is actually, what day it is, what time it is. Monday at 10 p.m. That's New York time, which is what a lot of these markets run off of, right? Looks like you're going to grab some liquidity here. And yeah, so be mindful of that. But also, I usually say that in a more negative context because it's like Saturday night and everybody wants to jump in a trade or something like that. If this breaks bullish, I say you have Jasmy up to 0.00879. Or, you know, if I was setting my take profit 0.0085, make sure I'm a little bit more likely to get filled there, right? Because that's where your previous resistance was, right? So this is one thing. This is where I used to mess up a lot. Hopefully you guys like me talking at you with a little bit of TA and my own personal experience here. This is where I used to get messed up all the time, right? I'd set my take profit up here because that's the measured move. And granted, there's a good chance that it could go up there and grab that. But there's also a big chance you fill out, you break out, you do a little bit of this, and you get here and you get rejected. It happened to me so much that I started just being like, all right, I want to make sure I get filled. I could set 100% of my take profit a little bit lower, or I could set something like 60% there and then put the rest 40% up there, switch it up. A lot of times I just put 100% where I'm pretty confident it's going to get filled. Sometimes like right at the top of it, because a lot of time market maker is going to sweep liquidity up here. That's what they're looking for. If it's just a small stop hunt, they're just looking for liquidity, and that's where the liquidity is, right? And so if they're going to grab liquidity, don't know where they're going to go after that, usually back down if you're not very bullish. But I want to make sure I get filled, but I want the highest I can get. So a lot of times it's like right at the top of the wick where I put 100% of my take profit. And as we get up there and I'm watching it, I'll set some alerts on some lines, because all you got to do is drop a line, you know, like halfway up there, click, put an alert on it, bang. Now when it hits, you know you're up in that region, and I can decide if I want to take profits or not. All right, and that's my run through of Jasmy. One thing that I'm guilty of is spending a lot of time explaining TA. Maybe that's why I don't always do it. Anybody got anything else they want me to look at? Or we will move on to the IQ raising event of the night. Again, it's Monday. How's everybody feeling? What's everybody thinking? How's anybody thinking on the higher time frames? TM Hustling. I haven't seen you in a while, bro. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Says, yo, was good. Hope everyone is having a good night. I absolutely am. I hope you are too. Might now make higher highs or anything, but I like where it's at for a little scalp pump. He said that. I just been scalping it, bro. Okay, nice. Well, to me, it looks like you got a nice scalp up to 0.0875. What is your scalp? What's your scalp take profit bankroll if you're still here? It's Japan BTC, right? Okay, I like that. That's actually a really interesting way to say that. Yo, was good. Hope everyone is having a good night. Thank you for being here, TM Hustlin. TM Hustlin, have you been here since we had super chats? We did. We upgraded. We got super chats in the building now. It's really just a milestone. I don't expect everybody to be like excited about it, right? Anyways, we're growing, we're moving. Let's go check something else out. A lot of times what I decide what I want to check out is I want to check out things that are trending, things that are kind of popular. Let's look at XMR. I don't think, did we look at XMR? I'm like looking at my list before I bother looking it up. I don't have this one on there. Don't click the market cap and make that mistake again. Perpetuals over on MEXC. He says 0.00875. My man. Wow, so close to that. There you go. Yeah, that's basically exactly what I just said. TM says yay, so he must not have heard the good news. I I'm excited just for the growth of the channel. Whoa. Oh, that's the 1 minute. But still, look at that head and shoulder. And with a bunch of little head and shoulders in it as well, I would back myself up. Yeah, one thing that is probably not great here, and sometimes things get bullish. What is this? It's a parabolic curve. If you've never seen one before. Got my curve line. Bang. I mean, when you draw it like that, it's pretty obvious, right? And where do we go from here? Let's pull that out a little bit. Makes a little bit more sense. Usually when you get kind of the top of that parabolic, it's usually cooked from there. There's a lot of attention. I'm not going to say that this thing couldn't keep going, but it's probably going to pull back. That's my opinion here. And then you could pull, this is on the 1 hour. This is kind of a big divergence here. Look at that. That's bearish divergence. And even if you didn't see the bearish divergence with the lifer vision, number one thing I'm looking at here is how far away from the 21 it is. Why am I not seeing? There's the paintbrush. Look at that. It is so far away from that 21. That 21 needs to come up, which means that there's only a couple of options, right? You go sideways, flag out, 21 comes up and meets it, or you pull back in some fashion, right? And the 21 comes up to meet that, or you just straight dump right through the 21 back to the 200. You know, probably not going through it, maybe something like this, and then you start building again. But I don't really see a scenario where you just keep blasting. Now, when things are super hot, it's kind of anybody's guess at that point when it's going to stop, right? Because technically, you're in a flag on the 15 minute. You got this, bing, measured move there. Could get you a little higher. I believe that Lifer said 700, I think is what he had a measured move to. I don't really remember what time frame that was on. So if you're bullish and you're going to continue, this little flag on the 15 minute looks like it could take you to 682. But what do I see more than that on the 15 that I would heed, given the hour that we just looked at? Would be like this head and shoulder. I think high likelihood you're pulling back there. All right, let's see if there's anything else that's worth looking at while we're here. We looked at lighter a few times. We'll pop over because we should already have TA on that. Says, congrats Underground, hope your channel keeps growing. You know it, man, we're gonna keep growing, but thank you for saying that. I map out that a while, been in this trade like 4 hours now. Get that W, guys, exactly. And I hope all your trading's going well too, TM Hustling. We've talked a lot about what you're doing, and I hope that's going really well for you. Says, yo, what's up, TM? Yeah, we're glad to have you back. You can tell people are excited that TM is back. I thought I would have lit in here already. I definitely should. Let's look at that LYN. Now, Bankroll was playing around with this, but he was just in and out of it, so I don't think he got hurt in this. But I'll tell you what you see there. Looks like a bottom in an inverted head and shoulder with a downward wedge. The thing is, for me, you almost want to call it a continuation bear pattern, but for me, they should be pointing up like that. And that's not what it's doing. It's actually pointing down. So you got that. And you'll have patterns inside patterns. As I said, you're going to have this inverted head and shoulder. A lot of times in these patterns. Seems like you might have found a bottom here. Now, the one thing, if you know your money maker model, and I know it okay, I'm not going to act like I'm Master Friend Pro about it, but I know it all right. I went through his class. I kind of get the gist of it. I think you would have really wanted to see this break higher and take out, you know, some stuff in there. It would look a lot better on the 15. Let's look at the 15. Bring this up. So, yeah, I would be a lot more bullish on this if it actually had broken some of this up here, right? Come up and be like, bing. And then what would you do in the money printer model? If it would have came up to like here, then you would have pulled your fib from the bottom to the range, and then you would have set your buy orders all, around the 786, 706. So there you go. Inverted head and shoulder doesn't have the biggest measured move here, right? Not amazing in my opinion, but digging out of a hole nonetheless. I don't own any of this token. This is just my opinion. No, I won on LYN a couple times. Yeah, I know you did, Bankroll, for sure. I just pulled it up because we have been talking about it. What was it that I was just about to pull up? Man. Oh, lighter. That's what I was going to pull up. And I know I have it. I can never, there it is. I can never find it. And then when I go to search it, it's like bang, right there. So lighter on the 15-minute, looking like maybe trying to invert head and shoulder. And you'll notice when you see a pattern, you're going to see that pattern all over the place. For a minute, I thought I was on the wrong thing. And man, that thing just dumped. You did not get that inverted head and shoulder there. Who knows if there was some news around this thing? I have no idea. But what I'm noticing here is your bullish patterns are not playing out, because this looked pretty good and it just didn't play out. And then you had an inverted head and shoulder here for sure. They didn't play out. Remember, like an inverted head and shoulder bullish pendant, they're not 100% to the upside moves. They have, 68%. Most of them are like 68%, which is pretty good if you think out of 100 and you're taking your bet. You got your 3 to 1, risk reward ratio. This is all the stuff that Lifer teaches all the time. Most of you guys are probably pretty familiar with it. All right, let's move on here because I don't see anybody asking for anything else. So I feel like I've done my due diligence. I know that the people want some charts, and so we're incorporating it, even if I kind of kicked against it a little bit at first and was like, no, we're not a TA channel, and we're still not a TA channel. But this is underground crypto, and our community means a lot to me. And I kind of want to make sure people are getting what they came for. All right, where do I want to go? Yeah, let's go back to Chrome. And let's move into the IQ raising event of the day. We got 12 people on the stream right now. That's pretty good. So let's hop into it, right? And we'll see if you guys want to raise your crypto IQ, I guess, by how many people jump ship when we start talking about something a little bit more intricate. But this is education. This is what the main purpose of this channel is: how trust works in blockchain. Trust. Who doesn't want trust? Why would trust be important? It says the myth of trust, right? Blockchains are trustless. They replace human trust with economic incentives. Trust shifts from people to code, institutions to math, promises to penalties. What consensus actually means. So this is some sauce. All right. A lot of it might seem vague, but this is a lot of things that people just don't really understand, or they gloss over and have very little understanding of, and then they keep running into deeper stuff, and then they're wondering why things are not clicking, right? Consensus equals agreement. Blockchain must agree on transaction orders, account balances, valid blocks, and history. Also, you can think of it as validation, right? ZK. ZK is a powerful form of validation that is more cutting edge for blockchain than the optimistic approach that we had before. Without agreements, forks, chaos, and double spending. Double spending, a huge problem. Forks, everything, forking code and just going in a bunch of directions. We've seen the most classic forks with like Cardano and Cardano Classic, right? Proof of work, which is Bitcoin model, but of course is like that's the model of mining in general, right? Because that's where miners live, in that proof of work. There are more than one proof of work, right? Bro, if you are all about crypto, you should have TA. You seem to doubt yourself. The has his sauce. You should also. Oh, the lifer. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't doubt myself when it comes to TA. It's just originally I'm just pointing out that's not what I set out to build, right? But I don't have no problem doing TA, right? And I'm going to be doing a lot more trading if we can kind of just get a little bit more bullish momentum. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like we're going there. And then you'll see me actually trading and not demo trading. I'll be trading and doing TA as well. So, yeah. So, proof of work. Miners compete for energy, hardware, and electricity. Security comes from cost, competition, and irreversibility. Attacks equal extremely expensive, right? So how do you keep the attacks away? Extremely expensive. So now we're talking about different models here, right? From proof of work to proof of stake. Validators stake capital. They propose blocks, verify transactions, and earn rewards. If they cheat, stake is slashed, reputation is destroyed, and money enforces honesty. So we're talking about how these different, proof of work, proof of stake work. Let's get them W's. I don't know why I'm reading this terribly. All right, gotta stop reading it like out of the corner of my eye. Slashing equals punishment system. Validators lose funds if they double sign, go offline, or attack networks. Fear over greed. So why incentives matter more than tech? Code can be changed, people respond to incentives. Blockchain works because good behavior equals profit, bad behavior equals loss. So this is the system, the checks and balances in which, you keep people in line and keep the blockchain honest and working for the people in the network. Decentralization is a spectrum, not binary. Depends on validator count, hardware cost, governance, client diversity. What breaks trust? Centralization, low participation, political control, and censorship. Those things destroy the trust. Hence, everything that was going on in America with the SEC for a while destroyed the trust in blockchain and things in America, and very much is the reason why you go to a lot of websites like, SparkDex we were just talking about. I go to Perpetuals and it says not available in your region. They're still scared of what might be done or said. They don't have the regulation put together to operate in America, so they're not going to, and they're definitely fearful of doing it without having permission. Well, we're going to break this into two parts because I don't want to hurt your brains. I don't want to run off people too much. Let's go see if there's any relevant news that we really should know about. Please give me all relevant news in cryptocurrency today. It's so funny. My wife, she makes some money posting on Facebook. Nothing crazy, but she got a really good post talking about we have a resale business in eBay and stuff like that. And she was talking about how she uses AI to find what a brand of an item is, and man, did people go crazy on that post. I think it was up to like 14,000 views the last time I looked at it. And again, we're not making gobs of money. We're not, a million follower influencer over there, but it's just funny because people were going ham about AI as I'm using ChatGPT to see the news. But like from the narrative that was most of the posts on that, you would think you were destroying the world if you used AI for anything. It's pretty funny. Yep, great tool. Yeah, Blues in that Flare video. Great job. Shout out. There will be another one coming out tomorrow. Probably at 9:30, 10 a.m. Check that out. And shout out to all the community who comes to those videos, likes, comments, and, even if you share it. But just liking and comment is a big deal. I really appreciate you. If you can continue to lend me your support, I actually still need it. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'll post in the Discord so you don't have to worry about when they come out. Hopefully you see them in your feed. You might want to check that you got that bell notification to all, so you're getting everything and not just some things. So crypto market structure bill markup delayed to last week of January. Senator Bozeman says, so crypto market structure bill. Now this is all the crypto market structure. From my understanding, I always have to say that because I could be missing something. I only know the fact of my own ignorance, and I can't cover everything in all space at all times, right? But what I'm really trying to say is I'm pretty sure it's all about stable coins, so that'll be interesting to see what they come up to. Crypto market stagnant as gold and silver rallies, and a lot of people believe that when gold and silver rallies, it's definitely not bullish for crypto. That's what they say, right? Some people say it's super bearish. Some people say it's just doesn't move our market at all, and it takes a lot of attention and hype and money out of our market or away from our market that would have flowed into our market. So, take that with a grain of salt. Former NYC Mayor Eric Adams unveils New York token cryptocurrency he claims will fight anti-Semitism. That sounds like a very political story. I wouldn't put a lot of thought on that. Bay Area woman returns $350,000 after majority of her life savings were lost in a crypto scam. So she was returned, I guess. They said that really weird. I guess she got 350,000 back. Well, good for her. George Jones countersued over X allegation in crypto theft. Not big news to me. Elon Musk, X, plans to feature for crypto traders. So probably one of the more bullish things that I've seen so far is Elon Musk rolling out perpetuals, spot trade and buy. Like, I've heard both kind of floated around it. What did they say? They said X has something like 700 million users, like, worldwide. That's a lot of people to come into crypto who might not normally have been in crypto, depending on how they integrate it. It's pretty cool. Do you guys think the credit card thing is actually going to happen? Oh, you're talking about on January 20th where they're going to cap it at 10%? I think it'll happen. I hear it won't happen. They FUD anything he says. All I know is every time they doubt him doing something, he tends to just do it anyways. And when it comes to the 10% cap on credit cards, I'm all for that. That's great for the people. A lot of people drowning in credit card debt. If you study your history and you know about interest rates on debt and loans, it was illegal to have anything as exorbitant as like 15% for most of all of human history. So, yeah, if you know your history on that, what he's doing is really not that crazy. It's got out of hand to have 25 to 30%, 28% for most average credit cards as an interest amount. That's wild, right? You're never getting out of debt at that point, and it's just it's gouging. And I hear it won't happen. I don't know, there's a chance. The one thing that I think of is it's hard to believe he would open his mouth and say a date that's so close to coming to fruition, and not have a plan and not have a way. I mean, he could probably just make an executive order. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not chilling in the White House. I don't know. Just a reason to make a dip. Yeah, in my opinion. For stocks, that is, maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you're in stocks for credit card companies and they do that, you're gonna make a lot less. I don't know to think if it will happen or not yet. I'm open-minded. I hope it does, because I think it helps the everyday person, right? And that's really the only reason why I hope it happens. And I don't know if I want that or not. So Underground, good looking out, hooking blues up and able to collab. Absolutely. We're all about the community. We're crypto family here. I say that, but I mean it. Yeah, looking bluesy Underground. Hey, appreciate that. That would be huge if X crypto thing good for crypto. They keep floating it, and nobody, like, I haven't seen Elon Musk come out and say, you know, that's crazy, it's not going to happen. Like when they talk about, you know, an X coin or something. A lot of times he comes out and says, guys, there's no X coin. There'll never be an X coin. And maybe there will, maybe there won't. That one guy says it's in the Bible, bro, if you want to go deep. Yeah, I was thinking that, Bankroll, but maybe not everybody here would understand the context. So historically, it's been very, very, very frowned upon to have extremely high borrowing rights, because it was understood to most people that you're locking them into being in debt to you for forever, and that it's predatory, and that it's not righteous, right? It's not upright. XRP stays pinned near $2. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. And I hope it stops doing that. These are the 5 biggest crypto winners of 2025. If they carry the momentum into 2026, I almost always regret clicking on one of these articles, especially from Yahoo. But let's see if they can just give it to me quick here. Gold stablecoins are pegged 1-to-1 to the price of gold. Soared nearly 70%. Yeah, you did well if you were in like eGold or something like that. I bet they did really well. Privacy coins, Zcash and Monero posted triple-digit returns. Well, they should probably update that. Zcash, not so much. While MemeX Finance skyrocketed 37,000% in 2025, it's now down 70% from its all-time high. That it absolutely is. The 5 biggest winners of 2025 were Bitcoin Cash, Zcash Monero, Pax Gold, and MemeX Finance. So there you go. At least they made it easy to find. You go to some of those articles and it's just like, is it even in here? U.S. Crypto Market Structure Bill. The U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee has postponed the markup of Crypto Market Structure Bill. We talked about that. And this is just going to regurgitate a lot of these. A lot of times I just read these top articles. I mean, what was like the most bullish thing here? I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's the Elon Musk feature for crypto traders. Man, is that going to make crypto Twitter kind of nuts. That's going to be kind of wild, right? All right, let's get back to our crypto IQ raising event of the night. As of right now, we have been live for an hour and 46 minutes. So can nobody say that we don't put the work in around here and do our due diligence and also try to educate the people and give them what they want. Why this model is revolutionary. This trustless model, right? Why this is better than banks. Banks close ledgers, meaning their tab of all their transactions, you can't see it. Not transparent, another way to put it. It's trust-based and opaque. Because think of this, you can't see the ledger, you can't see the transaction. You kind of have to just trust the bank that they've got what they say they got as far as your money that you gave them. Said Bible is the book. Absolutely. I second that. MemeX is doing a V2. Okay. Damn scam in my opinion. I'm not big on MemeX. Short that to zero, bad for the space. Yeah. V2's probably not good for that kind of product. All right, so banks have closed ledgers, they're trust-based, and they're opaque, meaning they're vague. Blockchains have open ledgers, they're verifiable, and they're global. So right here, compare and contrast banks to blockchain, much better. What happens when blockchain are the banks? All right, maybe there's a lot of hype around that. Why attacks rarely happen? Because it's irrational, it costs more than it is profitable, and it's very public to see all of the wallets and everything and everybody who's involved. Governance and upgrades. Humans still exist, of course, so they vote, they propose, and they involved in the politics of, you know, your big politics, governments and stuff, but of course, crypto politics as well. Politics within one ecosystem or one project, right? Your DAOs, those people vote. You could consider that political. Decentralization is messy by design. The trade-off. Nothing is perfect. It's slower, more complex. Userability, that's what UX is for, is worse. Security over convenience. So they're very much saying we'd much rather have high security than everything be super convenient. And we're kind of seeing with chain abstraction and wallet abstraction ideals hiding the complexity from the end user of the product, a wallet, whatever it is, blockchain, your contract addresses, all that kind of stuff. By hiding a lot of that, we can fix a little bit of this, but forever it's been security over convenience, and that is what has made the space move forward. If we went convenience over security, this would have probably fallen apart a long time ago. Why this matters for everything built on top. DeFi, NFTs, bridges, layer 2s all depend on honest validators and economic security, right? You get rid of the security and you really don't have much to build on at that point. The real insight, crypto didn't remove trust, it re-engineered it. I love that take. It's a great take. From belief to math, authority to incentives. Closing thoughts here. Blockchain doesn't work because people are good. They work because cheating is expensive. Hey, if you can't globally enforce laws and rules, you have to build incentives that make it pointless to cheat. And of course, we've talked about MEV and MEV attacks and stuff like that. So of course, there is some slight cheating, but what happens? The space evolves, the technology evolves into all kinds of different things. We spent 3-4 days just talking about new advances in blockchain technology that are made to combat MEV. Now, if you don't know what MEV is, maximal extractable value, and it has to do with validating and the validators choosing what order they put the transactions in and what blocks they go in to maybe front run or, you know, back run what's going on the blockchain because they see all of it before it actually validates. Very interesting stuff. But before I get too techie on you and run everybody off, I hope a lot of people who are my main people actually really understood a lot of that when we went over it. Let's go to the hour real quick, see what's going on. And I knew there was another product called Rain. Absolutely there is. Dash still up 3.1% on the hour. SPX 6,900, right? Yep, 6,900. Up 1.5. Belladex, Monero up another 1.2. Yeah, Aave up 0.5. MYX still up 0.6. Bankroll not a fan of MYX. We know that now. I will remember that. And that's pretty much what's going on as we roll into 2 hours of being live. We shift into what we call the underground crypto hangout. And Bankroll says they just want to clean that bubble map up because all the scam clusters they have, dude, just sent the airdrop to himself. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't catch that. I swear people will buy anything with a green candle and a chart. MYX. Hey, well said, Bankroll. Well said. I have PTSD. I heard y'all, though. That's funny. I don't know if you mean legit PTSD. I guess you do, because I think you mentioned that at one point. That I'm not saying is funny. I heard you, though. Bedtime for me and boys. Have a good night. Hey, we just shipped to the underground crypto hangout part cam stuff, so you made it through all of the super important stuff in the show. Have a great night, man, and we'll catch you in the Discord tomorrow. I'll be live again tomorrow night, and we'll do it all over again. Thanks for being here, Camsta. Peace. Have a good night. All right, so anybody want to play a round of Panzer Dogs? I know that Camsta's out. I'm just going to hop into one round real quick so I don't just sit here. But Blues Guy, if you want to join, just say so in the chat, and I will join you in the next match. You know the rounds are like 3 minutes, so no big deal. And I thought we had a great stream. I really enjoyed the opening to the series for the week. Got lots of great streams, videos dropping. I look forward to people being able to see that Spark Dex. Very grateful for Blues for being a part of the community and doing that for the channel. That's really awesome. Not a lot of people would go out of their way to make videos for another channel, but that's part of being of a community and a real believer in a community. That tells me he really believes in the community, me, what I'm doing, all of those things. Shows that he has a ton of actual real passion for Flare and its ecosystem. And he's bullish, man. And when CZ said there's a chance that we might have a super cycle here, I thought that was a good look, right? I thought that was a cool thing for him to say. Because a lot of people are going to look at what CZ says. Will it happen? It's wait and find out. You know, it's speculative market, so it's kind of like you kind of got to just hope that things play out, watch the TA maybe, and see if we get what we want. All right, somebody got him. Thank goodness. I need some health. Says awesome stream, then bedtime for 2. You saying you're going to bed too, Blues Guy? He's probably got to be up at like 4 in the morning. Don't blame you for going to bed, man. Not at all. This lightning is great for grass. Dang. For real, I shot way earlier and none of my shots even came out of my tank. What's up with that? I don't usually get a lot of deaths, so it's a bummer. Says I second that, Blues. Looks like he's yawning. Everybody's tired. It's a Monday night. Heck, I'm tired too. And I still have way too many things to do after the stream for other businesses, but that's life, right? This is what we grind. We push hard. Always want to have a lot going on. Always want to overachieve. I always want to be doing way more things than I probably should be doing. And that is the beauty, trying to manage all of those things. I got shipping to do for the other business, and it just never ends. But that's what makes everything go round, right? Anybody see the list that Melissa put up about chains that are probably gonna, I mean, go out of business is a good way to put it, right? They might go out of business here. Hit that. Bang, bang. Ah, they walked right into it, just like I hoped that they would. It's different when you're not playing with Blues Guy or anybody. These other teams are far less effective. All right, I'm glad somebody on our team got the rocket. Oh, man, he healed up. Shouldn't have let him do that. He's out of here. 3-1. I didn't even see who did pick up that rocket. Who grabbed that rocket? I don't even know. Got another one. I don't know what those little mines do. They just leave an emoji. What happens if you run over them? Nothing. I always try to avoid them. I don't know what happens if you run over them. He done. Oh, I got a hit in on him. Let's see, can we put him down? Grab that health so he can't heal up. Of course, get him to like 12 health and then somebody kills him on me. This is a very, oh man, cooked. I saw that. But I don't know how I had 650 health and the rocket only does 500 health. So I shouldn't have been dead on that. Oh man, he grabbed that rocket. Better back up. Says keep working hard for as long as you have it in. I think he means in you underground. Your family will reap thank you in the future. Absolutely, I definitely believe in that. Nice of you to say, and I'm with you on that. All I know is grinding, man. I've been a hustler my whole life. I sold candy in kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? We were making a profit in kindergarten. Like I've always been a hustler. It's why I always ran my own businesses. I like doing everything legitimate. Some people like to hustle in other manners. I've always been like, I like legitimate businesses, right? That's why I had handyman companies, moving companies, resale company. I had all three of those at the exact same time. And then what did my crazy self decide to do? I was like, I'm going to go build a YouTube channel as well. And I loved it so much that I was like, I would rather do this than my handyman company. And the moving company is backbreaking work. So, of course, I'd rather do this than that. But a year and a half, people don't understand. You know, you do a year and a half. It was really more like a year and like 8 months or something like that for $0, right? And now we finally get super chats. It's a milestone for the channel. It's exciting for me to just have the ability to say I at least made some kind of money. Like tonight, Melissa sent in a super chat. I made $5. That's awesome. I can say I made $5 because for a year and 8 months, I couldn't say I made a penny. And that's exciting. Sounds better when you talk to other people, though, especially your family members, right? Great seeing you guys. I guess Blues Guy's taking off. Understand. I know you got to be up early. Shout out to you. Thanks for being here. And look out for that video in the morning. What are we at now? We're at, it says 2 hours flat now. I guess we took a minute to go live. I don't know. If we went live at 8:30 and it's 10:38, I guess you're right. That would only be 2 hours. Should be like 2 hours and 8 minutes, though. Anyways, I digress. Underground told me some dope stories in the VC. Hard work pays off. Absolutely. Yeah, when we be chilling, we just be talking. Just like any good family would do. This is Chainers, where I am just mining the tiniest bit of BNB. Or farming, I should say, literally. I think it's funny they went with a farm because you're literally farming. It's kind of funny. This bamboo takes 13 hours and it's a one-time use. What's up with that? This one's only 23 minutes. I might want to come back to this like once tonight. I don't have no chicken feed or no reindeer feed. Oh, I actually picked up the one that I had. I got a gingerbread. I don't know what you do with that. What do you do with gingerbread? What is this? Festival cookie for bio points. You can't like use it. I guess you have to sell it to get the points. Then you come over to this little market. You hit all that you have and you click sell. It gives you an estimated amount you get in B&B, but that's subject to change to how many people get into the pool. And then you come up here, if this thing would go away, and you can see how much you've generated so far. It's dismal. I think last time I looked, it was like 38 cents when I did the math on it. Now it's like probably like 45 cents. But whatever. I don't, what do I spend? 15, 20 seconds, maybe twice a day. Nothing to really worry about. And then of course, what's the hope? That you get more stuff, you add it to your farm, and you can make a little bit more money quicker. I would rather see them give smaller amounts consistently over time that you could count on and it be real, than them to give away everything all at once and then go to zero because they just gave everything away. A watermelon seed is not a one-time thing. That's cool. I wonder how long those take. But anyways, I enjoy DeFi gaming probably a little bit too much, honestly. If that's even a thing. Bankroll says, I really want to start streaming. All right, well, you had a good idea with the peanut guy. I like that. Bankroll, I'd do something a little cooler than a peanut, but you do what you want to do. Maybe you could be, Bankroll, instead of the peanut, why don't you be like a green candlestick or something like that, like a big green candlestick with a big wick? That would be pretty dope. That'd be really dope, honestly. Maybe you should do that. That'd be really cool. Just a little nervous because I am still somewhat newish. Hey, if you take the approach that you were saying, I wouldn't be nervous at all. Nobody will have any idea who you are, and you could just go ham on whatever you want to say. Don't let your time pass and live with the doubt of what could have been. Well said, TM. I've never tried and failed in many things. The worst would be to not even try. I bet you would do great. You have a lot of energy and are a cool dude. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think Bankroll will do fantastic. He'll be bigger than our channel in no time, and then maybe we can go on his channel and say what's up to his people. You see how quick things change. I think you have a lot more. This is super niche what we do here. I think you'll have a lot more success at like capturing a large market. You know what I'm saying? And you're very involved in a lot of like Twitter and different channels and stuff. So you probably get quite a few people to come check you out. And that's all you really need to get started, man. Guys, just believe in yourself and run with it. If you have some doubts and you have ways to solve those issues, then what else do you really need, right? I say go for it. But just know it is time extensive for sure. And, going live is one thing. Making pre-recorded videos and things is a whole nother thing. That's a lot more work, bro. And a lot more know-how. Make sure you have a really good mic. Make sure you have a really good webcam. At least webcams are not horribly expensive. Good mics, on the other hand, that's a different story. This microphone I'm talking on now, probably one of the better mics you could have. It's the same mic that Crypto Lifer has. And he's all about his tech, and he's got the ability to get the gear that he wants. And he was in, video engineering, but he was in that kind of world of tech and stuff. He was around big productions and shows, so he knows what they were using. He knows good gear. So I trust him when he said this is like the best you can get. And of course, I see a lot of other podcasters and people who are big shows have this exact mic. But it's not cheap. It's like a $400 microphone. I am playing games out here getting hit. I don't know. I played this game so much that even though it's stupid, it's like somewhat entertaining to me. honestly, just because I can just zone out at this point. I don't really have to try very hard. Don't really care if I win or lose too hard. Just trying to complete those daily quests. And the hope is that at some point there is an airdrop for some tokens, some value. So we soak up like our trophy points or whatever you want to call them. After this round, though, I'm probably going to call it a night. There will be another stream tomorrow. If you miss me, come back and see me again tomorrow. And I will, of course, miss all of you guys. Maybe I'll hop into the voice chat at some point. Who knows? Maybe me and Bankroll will be chatting till 3, 4 a.m. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Oof, getting hit. I need some health. All right, now I got a point I can read chat. Yeah, I think it would be the VTuber trader. Thanks, fam. Appreciate it. Yeah, always, bro. You know we're here. We got your back. I'll come watch your. Hey, I'll support you too, bro. I'll come watch your stuff. Yes, sir. Get it, guys. Wish you the best of luck, Brody. Again, thanks, TM Hustling, for coming back to the channel. Hope to see you again soon. Which one is it? A smooth? It is a Shure, S-H-U-R-E. Yeah, I used to own a studio. Oh, yeah, that's true. I remember you saying that. Well, I owned a room inside 20-room studio. Got you. Hey, that's still something, though. I'm sure you had to deal with some gear and some tech, right? Snowman. Get Snowman out of here. He's coming through. He's getting low on health. He's getting ambitious. He's going for the throat. Oh, barely made it out of that one. Hit the box. Oh, need that. Need that. Let me in there. Might as well get the speed while I can. It's the biggest reason I usually lose is because I don't have no speed. The final boss comes out, hits you with the little shotgun blast, and you're done. There we go. That was a good move. Grab some more. Just keep moving. Ooh, don't want to be near that thing. Try to draw them all to me here. Oh man, I didn't see that. Ah, dude, those guys do some damage. They get on my nerves. Alright, let's get some upgrades here. What do we want? Okay, increase attack, hit that speed, extra projectile, armor, cooldown. Alright, now we're cooking. Let's go. Probably too fast. Dang it. Get the heck out of here with that. Need some more boxes. I need some loot. Give me the loot. Here's the final boss. Definitely need whatever's in that box. Definitely way too fast for that final boss. At least the mobs quit coming. Can just run down the side of them and just take them all out. Nice. Oh man, I was so close to getting hit by that bomb. Honestly, it's just relaxing to play this after all of that streaming, continuous talking, trying to be entertaining. More armor. Definitely more armor. Dealing with this guy, the Grinch. Christmas is over though. Like, when are they gonna change this? Let's see what this chat says before I take out this final boss. And rented it out, but it burnt down. I lost all my stuff, had no insurance. Man, that really sucks, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. All that matters is you still good and healthy, guy. You have a different calling. That's what it means. There you go. That's a good take on it. At least it's a positive way to move on. But I'm sure you've already had to overcome that a long time ago. Come on, Grinch guy. Just go ahead and kick the bucket already so we can be done with this. Once you got enough speed on him, he ain't nothing. As long as you don't let him hit you with those quick moves he's got. All right, and we beat him. Let's go collect our rewards here. See how many trophy points we got. And shout out to everybody who's still here. Still got 9 people on the stream. Almost 2.5 hours into streaming. I would call that a success. Win one game with Ninja. Oh, they changed. I should have looked at the quests. They changed them up on me. Dang. I guess I should have played as the ninja. I don't like the ninja. But we got 567,693 trophy points. Hopefully that does something for us one day. And shout out to everybody who's here. TM Hustlin says, easy work. Melissa saying she's still here with the popcorn. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Hopefully I'll be, telling you in about a week that we got fully monetized. We're well on track to do that. I wonder, let's see, I can pull it up. I can look at it real quick. Let's see what we're at right now. We got to get to 4,000. We are at 3,687. And it hasn't updated anything for today, so we're probably less than 300. I'm thinking we're less than 300 watch hours to monetization. We just got to keep grinding, keep hustling, stay underground, stay crypto. Again, thank you everybody for being here, and I will catch you guys tomorrow night as we continue our series, Raising That Crypto IQ. All right, everybody. Crypto Ron out.